Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Misty and the channel's name of course is Speculative Magpie, and we're here today to do a massive library slash book haul. It's gonna be a long one, folks, so make sure you get your favorite drink, sit down, and we're gonna chat a while. Oh, hair's just as bad as the last time. So yesterday was Friday, which means it was library day. Every 3 weeks I go and return my library books. And I discovered that my library was having a book sale. And today was the pay $3 and fill up a book, a bag. So I got some library books, and then I went back today and got 2 bags worth of books. So I thought I would share. Let's do a bit of blogging first, and then I'll get to the books. So I am doing Paul's Halloween readathon. I'm tanking on that one. I'm doing John Books of Blood's Halloween A to Z readathon. I'm tanking on that one too. Maybe I can do some short stories really quick and knock that out. It is not a good reading month, guys, and I don't know why. But yeah, so there's that. And I think I'm pulling my back's gonna go out. So hey, at least if my back does go out, I have some books that I can read while I'm laid up in bed. This sucks this week. Seriously. But Monday starts. We're gonna have a good week. We just gotta make it through the weekend. So let's talk about the library books first. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 library books. That's normally what I usually get, and I can normally get through them in the 3 weeks that it takes. None of these are particularly long. Some are, honestly, I don't even really remember what I got, but I know I got 2 Darcy Coates books, so let's pull them out and see what we got. It's going to be a long one, guys, so, okay, so this one is not horror, it's not fantasy, it's called The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Erikawa, translated by Philip Gabriel, and it just seemed like a sweet story, something that I'd want to read, and it's actually been on my Amazon wish list for a while. So let's read the synopsis. I mean, The Traveling Cat Chronicles has charmed readers around the world. With simple yet descriptive prose, this novel gives voice to Nana the cat and his owner, Satoru, as they take to the road on a journey with no other purpose than to visit 3 of Satoru's longtime friends, or so Nana is led to believe. With his crooked tail, a sign of good fortune, and adventurous spirit, Nana is the perfect companion for the man who took him in as a stray. And as they travel in a silver van across Japan with ever-changing scenery and seasons, they will learn the true meaning of courage, gratitude, loyalty, and love. It just sounds like a really sweet book, and it might be kind of fun to read, so I'm going to tackle that one. And the cover's cute. Look at that. And it's been a while since I've read a translated book, so yeah. This one here, Darcy Coates. Hunted. This is a heavy book. This is a good print. All right. Hunted, Darcy Coates. 22-year-old Eileen goes missing while hiking in the remote Ashlow Forest. 5 days later, her camera is discovered washed down river, containing bizarre photos taken after her disappearance. Chris wants to believe Eileen is alive. When the police search is abandoned, he and 4 of his friends create their own search party to scour the mountain range. They thought they were prepared, but Ashlow Forest is beyond anything they expected. As they stray further from the hiking trails and the unsettling discoveries mount, they begin to believe they're not alone in the forest, and that Eileen's disappearance wasn't an accident. By that point, it's too late to escape. So that's Hunted. Okay. Next one we have is The Haunting of Blackwood House. I really enjoy her spooky books, Haunted House. How long could you survive? As the daughter of spiritualists, Mara's childhood was filled with seances and scam mediums. Now she's ready to start over with her fiancé Neil, far away from the superstitions she learned to loathe. But her past isn't willing to let her go so easily, and neither is Blackwood House. When Mara and Neil purchased the derelict property, they were warned that ever since the murder of its original owner, things have changed. Strange shadows stalk the halls, doors creak open by themselves, voices whisper in the night, and watchful eyes follow her every move. But Mara's convinced she can't possibly be in danger, because ghosts aren't real. Are they? That one sounds, I just love her spooky, creepy ghost stories. All right, so what was this one? Oh, yeah. The Souls of Lost Lake by Jamie Jo Wright, Christie Award-winning author. This is a thriller. To save the innocent, they must face an insidious evil. Wren Blythe has long enjoyed living in North Woods of Wisconsin, helping her father with ministry at a youth camp. But when a little girl in the area goes missing, an all-out search ensues, reviving the decades-old campfire story of Ava Coons, the murderess who is believed to still roam the forest. Joining the search, Wren stumbles upon the Coons' cabin, ruins, and a sinister mystery she is determined to unearth. In 1930, Ava Coons has spent the last several years carrying the mantle of mystery since the day she emerged from the woods as a 13-year-old girl spattered with blood, dragging a logger's axe. She has accepted she will never remember what happened to her family, those bodies were never found, and that the people of Tempter's Creek will always blame her for their violent deaths. And after a member of the town is murdered and another goes missing, rumors spread that Ava's secret is perhaps more malicious than previously imagined. Two women, separated must confront the wickedness that not only challenges who they are, but also threatens their lives and the lives of those they love. Just sounds interesting. It sounds like a good little thriller, and I like the idea that it's in two different timelines. So that should be interesting to read. Oh yeah, Alone in the Vale. This is also a thriller-esque. It kind of gave me Anne Bishop vibes, Story of the Otherworld. Okay. Every season in the hidden town of Rockton seems to bring a new challenge. At least that's what Detective Casey Duncan has felt since she decided to call the place home. Between all of the secretive residents, the sometimes hostile settlers outside, and the surrounding wilderness, there's always something to worry about. While on a much-needed camping vacation with her boyfriend, Sheriff Eric Dalton, Casey hears a baby crying in the woods. The sound leads them to a tragic scene, a woman buried underneath the snow, murdered, a baby still alive in her arms. In Rockton, a town that doesn't let in anyone under the age of 18, Casey must take care of its youngest resident while solving another murder and finding out where the baby came from and whether she is better off where she is. So yeah, this is Alone in the Wild, a Rockturn novel by Kelly Armstrong. Haven't ever read any of hers. I've seen her books around, of course, just haven't ever picked one up. And then the last one, what was this one? Oh, yeah. Plain Bad Heroines. This one sounds like kind of like a horror book. So I'll read it and you tell me what you think. Our story begins in 1902 at the Brookhant School for Girls. Flo and Clara, two impressionable students, are obsessed with each other and with a daring young writer named Mary McLean, the author of a scandalous best-selling memoir. To show their devotion to Mary, the girls establish their own private club and call it Plain Bad Heroine Society. They meet in secret at a nearby apple orchard, the setting of their wildest happiness and ultimately their macabre deaths. This is where their bodies are later discovered with a copy of Mary's books laid beside them, the victim of a swarm of stinging, angry yellow jackets. Less than 5 years later, the Brookhant School for Girls closes its doors forever. But not before 3 more people mysteriously die on the property, each in the most troubling way. Over a century later, the now abandoned and crumbled Brookhants is back in the news when wonderkind writer Merritt Emmons publishes a breakout book celebrating the queer, feminist history surrounding the haunted and cursed Gilded-Aged institution. Her best-selling book inspires a controversial horror film adaptation starring celebrity actor and lesbian it girl Harper playing the ill-fated heroine Flo, opposite B-list actor and former child star Audrey Willis as Clara. But as Brookhants opens its gates once again, and our 3 modern heroines arrive on set to begin filming past and present become grimly entangled, and perhaps just as grisly exploited. And soon it is impossible to tell where the curse leaves off and Hollywood begins. That just sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to reading that one. So, those go back in my library book bag so they don't get messed up. So those are my library haul. I don't think it's a bad turn of different kinds of books. So there's that. Ugh. And then I got that one. And oops, some books fell out. So I got 2 bags plus some of those over there that fell out. Now, this book had more fantasy in it than the last, but I got the one horror book that was in that whole thing. Seriously, I did some looking yesterday and there wasn't any, but when I went today to do the $3 bags, I found one horror book. So it's in there somewhere and we'll talk about it when it pops up. So let's see what we got. Okay, like I said, this is mostly fantasy. Maria V. Snyder, Stormglass. So this is fantasy. A glassmaker and a magician in training, Opal Cowan understands trial by fire. Now it's time to test her mettle. Someone has sabotaged the Storm Dancers clan's glass orbs, killing their most powerful magicians. The Storm Dancers, particularly the mysterious and mercurial Cade, requires Opal's unique talents to prevent it from happening again. But when the mission goes awry, Opal must tap into a new kind of magic, as stunningly potent as it is frightening. The further she delves into the intrigue behind the glass and magic, the more distorted things appear. With lives hanging in the balance, including her own, Opal must control powers she hadn't known she possessed. Powers that might lead to disaster beyond anything she's ever known. It just sounded interesting, so I picked it up. Let's see. Yeah. Nora Roberts, she's a romance author. She writes basically everything that you could possibly think of in the romance genre. So she writes contemporary, she writes magical, she writes paranormal, she writes intrigue. So this is one of her little magic stories. It's got 3 novellas in here. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, yeah. Clyde Barker, The Great and Secret Show. So I did find a second one. I don't think I've ever read this one. But it's one of those that doesn't actually have anything on the back for me to know what the book is about. It's just Clyde Barker. I picked it up, so I'll have to go look that up online somewhere. Let's see. All right. Anne Bishop. I don't even know if this is a series or if this is the first book in the series or if this is a standalone. So, yeah, but I picked it up, saw her, loved what I've read from her so far, so had to pick that up. All right, The Once and Future King by T.H. Wright. I read this back in high school, like a long time ago. I am not a huge fan of Arthurian legend. Well, no, let me take that back. I'm not a huge fan of Lancelot, King Arthur, and Guinevere. That whole love triangle thing. All the other stories about all the other knights and everything, I'm down for. But those 3. But I remember enjoying this when I read it. So I thought it'd be nice to have a copy. And it's a nice looking copy. So figured it'd go up on my shelf with some of the classics that I really need to read eventually. So there's that. All right, so this is volume 5 of George R.R. Martin's Wild Card series. Now, I read this like in middle school, maybe my first year of high school. This is a really cool series. George R.R. Martin wrote the first 2 books, then he started editing because he basically said, all right, this is cool, but I want other people to write it. It's basically takes place around, it's an alternate universe where mutations happen. You have aces and jokers. Aces are mutants that have really cool, really, really pretty, really awesome powers. Jokers are the ones that got really like fucked in the ass by the mutations. There's one character, Chrysalis. She's basically a call girl, hooker, prostitute. And she's a joker. Her skin is completely see-through. She has hair and everything, but you can see the muscles and everything underneath her skin. And she's considered a joker. And it's just a really cool series of books. I don't think I've ever read up to book 5, but I think I read up to book 4. So this was kind of neat to find. This is an older book. So yeah, George R. Martin writes other things other than Game of Thrones. So you should check out some of his other stuff. He's actually really good, even if he is a little creepy. I don't know why I picked this one up. This is just a Nora Roberts. Is a book of romance about ghosts, I think. From mysterious warriors to evil sorceress, from full moon cravings to moon witch spells. These enchanting new tales of love and legend, magic and mystery, are just as alluring and menacing as the moon themselves. So yeah. That's one So I guess the other horror book that I picked up is in the other bag. That my husband hated going in with me because he did not like the way that I packed the bags. He was like, just like, you are doing it wrong. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to shove as much stuff in there as I can. All right, yeah. So, another Nora Roberts, Dance Upon the Air. I remember reading this series. Oh, it's deckled edges and has really nice. This is a fancy book. I remember reading this, like, I think high school, maybe earlier. It's magic, romance, takes place on an island. Reincarnation brings these three women together as they find their partners. And I just remember when I was younger enjoying it. And so this is the first book. And I thought it'd be neat to reread it eventually. Maybe I can find the other books that are like this for it, because it's really pretty. I really enjoyed this series. There was also another one about tears and shells and something. Just fun to read. Yeah, this is another fantasy book that I actually had on my wish list. Put it on there the same as I put on the Dragonborn chair. This is called Wraith. Again, it's got like maps in it and everything. It's an older fantasy book. Don't know what this copy is. This is a rock book. 1993. Yeah, so it's about the time. Ooh, look at these illustrations. They are so pretty. I just love these kind of old 90s fantasy covers. That's a pretty book too. Well taken care of. Look at that. Ah, man, book 3. But it's okay. It's a Raymond E. Feist book. So it's book 3, so I'll put it on my shelves and one of these days remember to get the other books. So, looks nice though. Again, I just grabbed it because it was an author I recognized. Now, these are 3 books in a series, kind of. Well, they're written by the same author, so I guess I wouldn't call them a series, but they're basically alternate histories, magic in our world. The Witch of Painted Sorrow by M.J. Rose. The Secret Language of Stones. And The Library of Light and Shadow. They all take place right around the turn of the century, World War I, World War II. But they just talk about different women that have magical powers. And it just seemed interesting, so I thought I'd pick it up. Plus, the covers were pretty. And then Midnight at the Bright-Eyed Bookstore. This is a thriller. It's been on my wish list for a while, too. It just seemed like an interesting book, and I wanted to pick it up and check it out. All right, The Last Enchantment by Mary Stewart. I read her books, The Crystal Caves and The Hollow Hills. Basically, the retelling of Merlin's history, not so much as King Arthur and all of them, although it's certainly in there. But she tells the story of Merlin before everything went down. And so this, I again recognized the author, hadn't read this book, and looks like this is about during the time of King Arthur. It deals with Morgause and Mordred and Merlin's own enchantment by Nimue. So that should be interesting, even if it's been a while since I've read the first two books, The Crystal Caves and The Hollow Hills. I think I know enough about Arthurian legend that I'm not going to be too lost. And of course, looks like the last book I picked up is the one that I knew was the actual horror story. And that is Bentley Little's The Summoning. Yeah, now I didn't have good luck with my one and only Bentley Little book that I bought, which was The Haunted. I hated it. Thought it was trash. But so I figured we'd try him again. I saw him. And so I figured I'd give this one a shot. So, yep, there's that. That is my book haul. I think I did pretty good. I think I got some interesting books. And hopefully... Oh my God. I won't throw out my back so I can still read them. Wow, this is actually longer than I thought it was going to be. So I do have some review videos to do. I want to review a couple of the smut books that I read that were really good. I have to finish up Camp Slaughter. And so, yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I'll hopefully have some book videos up for you within either tonight or tomorrow. Maybe Monday at the latest, with hope. So thank you for coming again, so we can talk some more about some books and things. As always, I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye, guys.